presence and patronage of His Excellency Sheikh Rashid bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Under-Secretary for Nationality, Passports and Residence Affairs of the Ministry of Interior, the Lebanese artist Jinan Al Khalil presented her artistic work through her exhibition entitled Verse of Colors in Folk Art Space Gallery. This was in the presence of a number of interested visitors and artists from around the region. People came in full color and in a joyous atmosphere.
I am so happy to come to Bahrain. Since 10 years I am the art and everything in the Bahrain. And today so happy with the Sheikh Rashid Al Khalifa and the folk art space. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you, Bahrain TV.
In the paintings of artist Jinan Al Khalil, all the colors were combined in perfect harmony, with a vision in the use of shades, making each panel tell a different story of a distinctive and unique character that imitates the beauty of all angles. Also on the side of the exhibition, the Egyptian writer Talal Saif presented a discussion entitled Fine Art Between Authenticity and Modernity. Jinan Al Khalil is a prime example.
So I think what's quite interesting about the paintings is each one tries to tell a story. So it's obviously some sort of narrative about perhaps people, perhaps herself, perhaps her daughter, I wonder. It seems to be quite often there's a character in the story. I've only been here 5 minutes, so I haven't had a big time. But it is a very nice space, I would say that. It's a very beautiful space. I understand it's quite new, and I would say it's a really beautiful space for an exhibition. And also I see there are some somewhat different paintings. You suddenly think, were they part of an older phase, something different she did before? So artists always change their language as they evolve. I think art is always important, and perhaps it's a distraction from other problems, more practical problems. But I think it's always important to think about the beauty of life and not just the difficulties of life.
Artist Jinan Al Khalil studied art at the Institute of Fine Arts at the Lebanese University and then received a postgraduate diploma in painting. She also has a bachelor's degree of engineering in interior decoration. Jinan presented various exhibitions in Lebanon and around the Gulf. In cooperation with the National Institute for Human Rights in the Kingdom of Bahrain, also known as the NIHR, the Bahraini Journalists Association organized a workshop entitled Enhancing the Culture of Human Rights in the Field of Media in the presence of Her Excellency Ms. Maria Khouri, the chairperson of the National Institute for Human Rights. This was with the participation of a number of media figures and journalists.
One of the most important values of the National Institution for Human Rights and mandate is to raise awareness of human rights and training. So this workshop comes among other workshops that we have already implemented and started in the community and in Bahrain society to raise the awareness of the importance of human rights. Why is this critical and important right now? Because we are giving it to the journalist society, and it came from an initiative from them to further inform them of what NIHR is all about, because if they are aware of what NIHR about, they will be able to promote that and give it on to the society. Of course, freedom of expression is very important, and it's reflected in most covenants and agreements that Bahrain has ratified and joined. The importance of it is that freedom of expression should never compromise the values and the constitution of the country.
The workshop dealt with the role of the NIHR in the promotion and protection of human rights and all the details that would protect these rights inside and outside of Bahrain. The workshop then tackled the rules of practicing the freedom of opinion and expression in the field of visual, written, and audio media and social networking sites, and explaining the details of their use in an appropriate and effective manner that serves the vision and objectives in the Kingdom of Bahrain in various aspects.
Recently at NIHR, we have been very much involved in monitoring and working with our stakeholders and monitoring the situation of human rights in Bahrain. Two issues come to mind right now as we speak. The first issue is the alternative sentences that Bahrain has been talking about. Bahrain is implementing successfully. We are partners in this process as the National Institution of Human Rights. Why? Because it's the core of human rights to implement alternative sentences. It has much added value. It has much positive impact on the society. Another thing we value, highly value, His Majesty's recent order to reinstate the citizenship to 551 citizens of Bahrain. We will monitor the situation and we will work closely with all the other stakeholders when it comes to that. At NIHR, we continue our core business, which is receiving complaints, offering assistance, and monitoring the situation of human rights. Further on, we will work with legislative parties, whether it's Parliament, Shura Council, or the government, in commenting on new laws and legislation to be in par with human rights. We will continue to submit our parallel reports to the UN human rights mechanisms in Geneva, and our doors are always open. I'm very proud always to say that we are homegrown, we are organic, and we're the home for human rights in Bahrain.
This workshop comes as a result of the cooperation between the concerned authorities to improve the media work on human rights and to highlight the culture of human rights and to show them the role of the kingdom in the field of human rights and its effect on the society and the world through the media.
Bahrain Journalists Association has teamed up with the National Human Rights Authority in terms of bringing awareness to the importance of human rights advocation, especially towards journalists, and to help them in their news reporting on a daily basis. The Bahrain Journalists Association takes this role as an important step towards the awareness that's required in the society for human rights issues.
The National Institute for Human Rights vision is based on the principle that the human rights culture is a lifestyle, and its mission is together to create a better human rights practice. The NIHR is in constant cooperation with national bodies and regional and international organizations in the promotion and protection of human rights, participation in regional and international forums, and meetings on human rights issues, as well as holding joint meetings and events, cooperation and consultation with relevant civil society institutions, as well as issuing publications and providing education and training in the field of human rights. Aside from that, they also conduct research in this regard.
In cooperation with the National Institute for Human Rights and Bahraini Journalists Association, workshop on promoting human rights culture on media field here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. I'm Salim Al-Mannai, Bahrain International Channel.
The bachelor students in art and design at the University of Bahrain organized a literacy activity for children entitled Tailoring a Story. This was as part of their media campaign under the supervision of Dr. Sama al-Hashimi. Each child participated with his parents in writing a story inspired by the imagination of the child under the guidance of the Bahraini writer Ibrahim Sanad, where he explained to the parents the importance of writing the story of the child's own thinking and its role in unleashing the imagination of children. Dr. Sama al-Hashimi explained that the writing initiative is inspired by children's ideas and aims to enable them and young people to meet with writers and artists to evaluate their effort and work on developing it. This effort is in cooperation with all local and non-local sectors working in the field of children's literature and the rehabilitation of a distinguished group in the literary and artistic field. The students concluded the activity by honoring the 3 winners' stories, which ranked first Hiba Isa Haji, 12 years old, and then came Ali Ibrahim al-Zaymour, 9 years old, and the third was Sama Shinawi, 10 years. Mr. Ibrahim Sanad expressed his admirations for all the stories presented by the children in different personalities and events, and noted that the activity contributed to the discovery of parents to the talents of their children. The students continued their campaign activities at the Society of Literary and Writers Families in a dialogue session organized by Dr. Safa Al-Alawi with Dr. Sama Al-Hashimi, Mrs. Nabiha Al-Khayyat, and writer Ibrahim Sanad, followed by a workshop in which authors write stories with children and inspire their imagination.